Hello everyone, I'm Tina Edwards of Edwards KC Events, and I'm here today to talk to you about making your own face mask. I want to say thank you to Mid-Continent Public Library for giving me this opportunity to share with you today. I worked a few years at a couple of the North Platte branches of Mid-Continent Public Library, and I just want to say a quick hello to everyone at Dearborn, Edgerton, and Camden Point. Today I'm going to walk you step by step through making your own face mask. The pattern that I've chosen is a very simple one. It turns out to be basically a rectangle, and the straps are very easy to make and put in. There's no pleating, no gathering, very easy to make. I've also compiled a list of additional resources that include a link to this pattern, as well as other patterns that I have found and made that are available for free online, and also a few how-to videos for different techniques and parts of the project that you might find useful. Some of the fabrics that you can use to make your own mask include good quality quilting cotton. There's a lot of good quilt shops here in the Kansas City area. You could use old clothing, old dress shirts, old dresses or blouses. You could even use old knit clothing. Maybe you have some old baby clothing or baby blankets that you are not using at this time. There's a lot of different things that you can use. Really, the tighter the weave, the better. If you hold it up to the light and you can see a lot of the light coming through, then you probably want to keep looking. Some of the things that you could use for the strap that goes around your neck and ties around your head include just cutting a piece of fabric and finishing it off. You could use elastic, including old elastic that you might get from old garments. You could use ribbon, yarn, a shoelace. Any of those you don't have to sew. They are super easy. You could even use a length of lace if you wanted to and feel a little bit fancy in your mask. I'll bet you didn't even know how many things you already have around your house that you can use for a nose wire. You could use a pipe cleaner. Oftentimes kids use these for their crafts. You might have a florist wire if you enjoy arranging flowers. This project calls for a paper clip. I bet you can find a paper clip in your house. And one item that I bet you never thought about sewing with is the tie to a bag of coffee. And just cutting that off, you could sew right through it if you've got a thick needle. If not, you could hand stitch it on, and you've got something that will bend to your nose. Once you've gathered your fabric and decided on that, then you'll need to gather your tools and supplies. These include a sewing machine if you have one, needle, thread, scissors, pins or clips, and then of course an iron to press it and have it lay flat. If you don't have a sewing machine available to you, there are several different ways that you could use to put this together. You could use a hot glue gun. You could get some fusible web and use an iron basically to press it all together. You could even use things like binder clips or safety pins to clip the edges and hold them together. And your mask will definitely be unique, and no one else will have one just like yours. First step, once you've gathered your fabric and your supplies, your tools, everything's ready to go, is cut your fabric. All you're going to cut is rectangles. If you know how to make a rectangle, you can cut out this fabric. So you're going to cut rectangles out of all the layers that about 6.5 inches by 13 inches. Very easy, very simple. If you're making the mask for a child, you might make it a little smaller. If you're making the mask for someone with a beard or someone with a larger face, make it a little bit bigger. If nothing else, make sure you have enough. You can always cut fabric off, but it's really hard to add fabric once you have made your cuts. After you've cut out the main pieces of the mask, you're going to prepare the strap and the nose clip piece that you may be using. The nose clip is super easy. If you've got a paper clip, especially a plastic coated one, you're just going to unbend it and then rework it so that it will fit over your nose. Very easy. For the strap or the tie that's going to go around your head, you have several options. You might be using something that you don't really need to do anything with. Let's say you have a really long shoelace. You're ready to go. You don't have to do anything. You might use a knit fabric that won't ravel. Again, just cut the piece. It's ready to go. If, however, you're using a cotton fabric or another fabric that will ravel, you might want to finish off the edges. You could just do an easy zigzag around it, or you can press it inwards and then sew around the edges. After you have all the pieces ready to go, next you will attach the nose clip to the fabric. And you're going to attach it to the wrong side of the fabric so you can't see it, and so that it's hidden within the fabric layer so it doesn't hurt your nose, hopefully, at any point. And you'll just use a zigzag stitch, maybe a hand stitch, to try to attach that securely to the fabric. Once you have your pieces assembled, then you're going to sew all the layers together. So put your two outside pieces together with their right sides facing. That means the side of the fabric that you want showing on the outside. That's often called the right side. Put those together, and then if you have a third layer, then just attach that to the side with the nose clip so that it gives you a little extra padding. And then sew all the way around the outside of that with either a 1/4 inch or a 3/8 inch seam, leaving open 2 inches on one of the short sides. And the reason we do it on the short side will be clear in the next step. It'll make sense in the next step. Once your seam looks really good, straight seam, no puckers or pleats, clip the corners to reduce the bulk. You might trim the seam a little bit, but leave a little bit of a seam allowance. Don't trim too close to your stitching. And then you're going to use that 2-inch hole to slowly and carefully push that fabric through that hole until you can see the right side, or like I call it, the pretty side of the fabric, until that is all the way out. Poke those corners out. At first they're going to look like curves instead of corners, and then press it down. Quite often in sewing, you'll hear someone say press it, and that just means iron it. You're applying heat, you're pressing down. Usually the sewing term is press it, but it just means iron it. Next, you're going to turn over towards the middle, the two short sides. You're going to turn them 1 inch or 1.5 inches towards the middle of the fabric, and press it again so that they stay down. And then you're just going to do a line of stitching along the edge that you've pressed over. And as you can see, this is going to close up that 2-inch hole that we used to turn it right side out. That's why we put it on the short side, is because it makes it super easy to close it back up. The last step is the easiest step. You take your strap, you thread it through one side of the casing, thread the other in through the other piece of the casing. A safety pin works really well for this. As you can see, when you're ready to put this mask on, this goes over your head. That's one of the things I really liked about this pattern, is that when you need to take it off, it just hangs around your neck. It's not going to fall down. You're not going to drop it on the floor. So it hangs, and then you bring it up like that, and then you're going to tie around your head. You're obviously going to fit your nose clip. And then the sides can also be adjusted just by pulling on the sides will give you a little tighter fit on the sides. That's it. Your mask is finished. Be sure to check out the additional resources, which will include a link to this original pattern, as well as other patterns and styles that are available for free online. And it will include links to other how-to videos and more. There is no doubt that all of us are experiencing the changes and difficulties that have come with this pandemic. I want to see all of us survive it. All of us wearing a mask helps make that possible. So go forth and make a cute mask, post your pics, and we'll see you soon. I want to thank Mid-Continent Public Library for giving me the opportunity to share this information with you, and I hope to see and sew with you at the library again very soon. Take care.